Hello everyone, my name's Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 1st, 2025. And it's very likely that we are going to experience the last significant move down in altcoins before our massive run to the upside for alt season 2025, right? If that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. We're obviously going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to go over Ethereum as a proxy for the altcoin market. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance as usual. We may even have a look at crypto total 3. So stay tuned until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. Bitcoin. We're in our pink box. Many people are getting really bullish, okay? You don't want to get bullish at the top. You want to be very careful at the top. You don't want to see a little move to the upside and think that you're going to begin a strong move to the upside rather than completing what has been since, early April, a large move to the upside. So for those of you who follow my work, you know very well that my pink box was a top for Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin's pretty much at the top of our pink box. And I've been saying for quite some time on this channel that right where our pink box is a major level of resistance. That's resistance of all of this 100 days of price action. You took a while, 100 days or approximately, to break down from this channel. And you've been going sideways ever since for maybe like 80, 90 days, yeah? And you're finding yourself back up at this level, but after this complex flat correction. So what I've been saying on this channel is this. Once we get up here, we should be very cautious, extremely cautious. It's not the time to be bullish in anything, actually. It's not the time to be bullish. You should de-risk or have a plan to do so. Now, there's going to be nuance to what I say next, so please pay attention. I was of the belief not long ago that we were likely to experience some side-to-side price action in the confines of our pink box whilst the altcoins started moving. And that would allow alt season to begin while Bitcoin stayed within the confines of this pink box. I no longer believe that. So, I will repeat. I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. Very simply, I think this is the top for Bitcoin, the local top for Bitcoin. I'm not bullish for Bitcoin in the immediate short term. I think this is the end of this move, right? We may get a little more consolidation, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we broke down in the manner that I've depicted on this chart. And my idea of staying within this pink box, going side to side while altcoins move, I don't think that anymore. Actually, my new trade plan is the following. I think you actually break down from the pink box and then retest it, right? Broken support retested as resistance. And here is where the majority of altcoins decouple. Now, I will say this. Looking at my watch list, I can already see some altcoins have already started to decouple. Right now, as we speak, I have Balancer up 40%. I have VRA up 18%. Some altcoins have already started. But again, and we're going to look at Ethereum in a bit, the majority of altcoins will start to move to the upside once we get here. So let me repeat that for no one to have any confusion. 1, I am not bullish on Bitcoin in the immediate short term. I think that this was the top of the move, and now what we're likely to experience is an impulse to the downside all the way to our target of 65 to 70K, but it won't come in one fell swoop. The first wave of that declension in Bitcoin is going to be a move down to this approximate region of around 85K, where we find some intermediate support and bounce. In that finding support around 85K and in that bounce, a lot of altcoins fly. This is my new trade thesis. It's not that drastically different than before. Again, it's more refined in trying to explain how things matriculate. Again, the what is the same. The overall thesis is the same. With more data, I can then refine how it's likely to happen based off of what I'm seeing on the charts. So that is what I see in Bitcoin. So I'm seeing this breakdown. And you may ask, why did you change your mind? What's wrong with your previous thesis of Bitcoin just going side to side to side? Well, to answer that, I have to zoom in a bit. Zooming in a bit on the hourly time frame, I just didn't like the idea that this move right here was part and parcel of this consolidation. I saw this consolidation, and had this consolidation broken down and then come back up like this, I would have thought, oh, okay, I'm waiting for another breakdown of some kind. Or if it had stayed steady, right, I would have thought, okay, this is when altcoins are going to move. The fact that this consolidation broke up told me that this was not the same as this. These are two different phases of price action on the small time frames. And given that this to me looks like an impulse and this to me looks like some sort of consolidation, then I think, and then, on the higher time frames, given, our location at high time frame resistance, then I think you're essentially looking at the last capitulative move up within a region of resistance and then a swift move down. That's what I'm seeing, okay? So that's why I've changed my mind on how I believe alt season starts. But it's all the same. Here, I'm looking at a first move down in Bitcoin. And again, I'm saying be very careful. So you should also experience a small decrease in altcoins, relatively small, okay? That may be anywhere between 10 and 30%. But what follows in most altcoins should be a massive move up. So looking at my trade thesis here for Bitcoin, I'm seeing Bitcoin go down around 10-11% in this move. And in that same amount of time, I'm also seeing altcoins go down. Let's just look at Ethereum. Let's not delay. So Ethereum, I said in the last video, we were at a level of resistance. We were more likely than not at some distribution event, right? In some channel that was preparing to break down. And my breakdown target is quite clear in Ethereum. So I think using Ethereum, even for your own personal purposes of trying to read this market, is quite useful in this sense, because it's really clean and clear right here what we're looking to do. You have 80 days of a downtrend broken, now just having to be retested. It's simple, it's clean, it's easy, it's straightforward. If you use that as a barometer for what's likely going on in the altcoin market, you may have a good understanding. You're likely to have a good understanding what most altcoins are going to do. And again, why are we using Ethereum? Why are we even interested in Ethereum? Remember, if we're really talking about, we're in May of 2025, the year after a halving event. Ethereum typically moves in a big way in the first quarter. We're clearly in the second quarter of the year. Okay, Ethereum typically moves. I didn't finish that thought. Ethereum typically moves big to the upside in the first quarter following a halving event. Obviously, this data is not very rigorous because we're dealing with an asset that's only, what, Ethereum's like 8-9 years old. That being said, everybody's expecting Q1 to be strong. It wasn't. Whatever. We're in May. We have on the high time frame evidence of a local market bottom. On the small time frame, like I said, 80 days of a downtrend, a breakout of such downtrend, last move down, which is a retest of that breakout before your first move up. All right. And so when you look at the smaller time frames, what do you see? I think it's quite clear. This is a distribution channel. You went up and down, up and down, up and down. You're at the top of your distribution channel, and boom, you fly down. If Ethereum does indeed do that to retest that resistance, it's targeting 20% to the downside before the massive move up. Okay, so just to give you an example, just to give you an understanding of what to expect in altcoins, if Bitcoin's going to give you 10-11%, Ethereum's going to give you 20%. Some of your favorite low cap all-stars are probably going to give you 30%, 35%. Don't get freaked out. It should be, with the high degree of probability, the last big move before very, very long-awaited, bullish, properly bullish, clean, impulsive price action to the upside in the altcoin space. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So we've made the case here for what Bitcoin's likely to do, what Ethereum's likely to do. Let's look at our Bitcoin dominance chart and our total 3 chart and call it a video. I don't want to make it too long. So Bitcoin dominance is pretty much been where we said it was likely to hover before breaking down. Again, you have on the high time frames this major move. It's very telling. February 2nd, you have this big wick to the upside, retested, then a bunch of consolidation. Boom. We're waiting for that big confirmation to the downside in Bitcoin dominance. We still, on the high time frames, have a lot of evidence to suggest that we're going to get that on the weekly time frame. Our Bitcoin or our stochastic RSI momentum indicator is crossed bearish on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, we are crossed bullish, but that's on the daily time frame. On the 4-hourly time frame, we could say that this double top may roll over. Okay, so I do think the move is imminent. Again, it's just been a lot of sideways price action, clearly indicating a strong resistance to the upside, right? It's like we're distributing. In my eyes as an analyst, this is what I see. Last but not least, looking at the total 3, it's the same story that you're seeing in Ethereum, yeah? And you have here this quintessential bullish reversal pattern, inverse head and shoulders, okay? You have a breakout, and now at resistance, remember this resistance is both the resistance of the 500-day channel, that's a dark green channel, and I think this was an 80-day channel if I'm not mistaken, of this falling bull flag. I'm just quoting previous analysis if you're interested in how I got there and the time. Like, I'm not going to rehash that, but I'm pretty sure that those two resistances are accurate. This is 500 days, this is 80 days. You're at the nexus of two resistances, and you formed at that nexus a rounded top. More likely than not, you're rolling over. Okay, now where are you rolling over to? just like I said, and I have my alarm set here, it's likely going to be around the top, the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern. Breakout, retest, breakout. That's what I'm seeing. You see the same thing in Ethereum. You see the same thing in a lot of other altcoins. You should see a high time frame downtrend broken, now being retested. So in the total 3, I would not be surprised if we saw altcoins move down 6%. And I think it's lower here because some altcoins, like I mentioned, have already started moving up in their alt season. Some of them have already begun the party. So yeah, this is, I mean, it could go down a little lower, but I do feel like that is my target here in the total 3, to come down here, and this is where the party starts. This is where we start counting waves in pure impulsive price action to the upside. That's when the fun starts. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider tipping me by Venmo, Litecoin, Cash App, all at the pinned comment below. And consider my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, where I help you balance your portfolio, choose up to 5 altcoins that are going to perform in the bull market. Not everything is going to actually give sustained gains in the bull market. That is at the pinned comment below. I meet with everyone 1 to 2 hours per month, and I send regular signals for buying and selling of the assets that, you know, we go over during our private one-on-one sessions. And then the last thing is, I do have a new exchange partner, CoinCatch, and there is a link for an event going on right now where if you sign up without a deposit, you can get up to, I think without the deposit, you can get up to $130 that they'll give you after completing the requisite tasks. But just for signing up, I think they give you 10 or 20 bucks or something like that, and then you start trading, and they give you some more, and then you trade a certain amount, then they give you the 100. But then if you deposit 10 or more dollars, they give you 20 bucks. So that's why I'm saying 130. Altogether, I think it's $150 that's given to new registrants, and that can be had again without making a single deposit. So that the link to that is all at the pinned comment below, guys. I hope you're excited as I am. I know I'm just calling for a move down, but what's exciting about this is the fact that we're going to get some volatility in the market. And if you get volatility to the downside, you should also get volatility to the upside. What's really infuriating in our market and has been very difficult to deal with is the side-to-side bullshit that we've been dealing with for months and months and years on end. Finally, if we get volatility to the downside and a breakdown, we can get our retests completed and, you know, enjoy our alt season finally. All right, guys, take care.
Arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon its glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on.
Looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, and like I didn't even know, y'all. I have Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit or better than letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all. Run it.